I'm Chris McDonough, a retired homicide detective. I've interviewed thousands of people, from serial killers to ministers. Welcome to the interview room.
Aloha, everybody, and welcome to the interview room. As always, I'm coming from an undisclosed location. That way, I get the best internet as we travel on our Airstream around the country. So excited that each and every one of you are here tonight. I'm rolling with the McFluff, as our friends say over at the lab, and trying to make it happen here. So, hey, we've got a great show. I'm so excited to be here with you. I know some of you have been dealing with a lot of issues in terms of snow and weather. Our good friends up in Canada are dealing with some of the things they've got going on there with the truckers, and our good friends over in Europe and just around the world, Ireland and England, and just all the amazing countries that, quite frankly, Karen, Dillan, and I have just been blown away that you would even give us an hour of your time or an hour and a half of your time. We sure love you and we appreciate you. But more importantly, we can't do this without your support in terms of hitting the subscribe button and passing it on to friends, sharing it. And then, of course, our team here, all of our subscribers, all of our members, Patreon members, etc. We absolutely love you guys. We're grateful for you again, but we really love our mods over here. And I want to, give some condolences to Sophie H, for your family situation going on there. We're so sorry. Karen and I have kept you in our prayers. Our team lead over here for our mods, as you guys probably know, is Miss Sophia, and Maui Girl and Mimi J2, Sophie H, and of course Stephanie Herb are our mods currently. So we're so grateful for each of them, and the kindness that you show them in the chat, and the respect as well that you show each other in the chat. We are, we're here, concentrating on a 5-year-old little girl. We're not about, craziness, quite frankly. I spent 25 years and, almost 40 years in this business, and I've dealt with a lot of craziness, but I don't deal with it here on YouTube. So be considerate and, to one another, and be kind. That's all we ask. And you're grateful, and we're grateful for that. So we've got a great program for you tonight. It's been a busy week for me, but I've had these little gems for quite some time, and I think the timing is correct to go into some of the stuff that has been going on, obviously with the search for summer. And so what, as you notice, I've been looking back over the last, couple of weeks, all of us, and talking about, what we initially heard when we were there in Tennessee, Karen, Dee, and I. And, also we've got, Summer's birthday coming up on February 4th. And so I thought, what, now is the time perhaps to talk about some of the thoughts that I've been having in relationship to motive. I've pretty much, in my own personal opinion, I've eliminated this stranger concept. Now, what I mean by that is I've always stuck to the house in relationship to somebody having access to the property. Okay. And then, of course, the other theory that I've been weighing heavily on is the accident theory, right? Was it at the water hole? Was it at the home? There's just, I think we can all, kind of think through those things, but we don't know right now. So the one thing you'll find if you're new to our channel here is, we're going to go where the evidence takes us. And we're just not going to go off into left field and, some craziness, right? Because quite frankly, Summer deserves, rational thought process as we search for her, and meaning the authorities, and of course we can help by being reasonable and present information in such a way that creates all of the amazing minds on YouTube and the true crime community to kind of correlate together and maybe come up with some ideas that could be viable. I know for a fact that law enforcement monitors each and every one of these YouTube channels, including mine. And for that, I'm grateful. And I'm grateful for their service. I'm grateful for how hard they work and how hard they're working on behalf of Miss Summer Wells. Okay. So that's where I want to go tonight in terms of, I want to talk about motive. Okay. And you know me, I've got, a couple of slides, and one of the things when, I'm in the classroom teaching, from the Cold Case Foundation, one of the things that we always reiterate is, investigators sometimes, have a tendency to just kind of go into a tunnel sometimes. And over time, that kind of releases itself as the evidence points them in the correct way. So I think if you're new to us, you're going to see the whole chat light up here for a minute, because hopefully I've taught this principle correctly with our TIR family, who hopefully you guys become a member. But what do we ask? Do we ask the how? Did an incident occur? Do we ask why? Okay. So watch the chat. I'll guarantee you a lot of folks have caught that vision by now. And while it's lighting up with the correct answers, one of the things we have to ask ourselves, and there it goes right there. And thank you each. There's so many of you. I love you all. Please forgive me if I don't call you out right now, but I will. You know me. One of the things we love is this idea that presents itself whenever a small child goes missing. The question is, you don't ask, well, how did that happen? How? When investigators ask that question, they really get jammed up pretty quickly. And they start, compartmentalizing evidence, and they basically start to diagnose before they prescribe before they diagnose. And so the principle is, you always ask why. Initially, when you first get to a homicide scene or a crime scene, when you ask, the how, the who, and all of that will then start, falling into place. Okay. So ask why. Okay. And let me give you an example, right? If you go into a particular environment and you say, wow, and you see all of the evilness that's taken place there, if am I back? All right, looks like I'm back. Man, that was weird. I'll wait till everybody. Yeah, I got gone. Exactly. Yay. Okay, it looks like everybody's here, and I'll edit that out later. Yeah, we're stuck in Hawaii. Okay, is everybody back with us? Yes. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. Just my phone just decided to do its own thing. So that happens. Let me plug it back in here. Sorry about that. And we will edit this later. Okay, aloha, back. All right, so where I think I left off was, we were talking about the why and the how. Okay. And whenever, you go into a scenario, you always want to ask, why did this happen? Okay. And so tonight, what we're going to ask ourselves is if it's an accident, then we can ask why all day long in relationship to, well, why could it be an accident? And then you can ask, well, then how could it have occurred? Okay. And so what I want to do tonight is just keep an eye on um, all the confusion that's going on around this case. And then ask ourselves, well, why is there so much confusion in this case? And what we're going to get to is I'm going to talk about an individual by the name of power-reassurance. And what Mr. Power-reassurance is, in my opinion, is going to be our friend DW. And so I've had a long, a career and experience in these types of problems and missing children, these types of cases. And one of the things I want to give everybody a heads up on is, there's going to be some sensitive information here. Okay. I want to give you a trigger warning in relationship to, some essay. Okay. And how individuals handle it and why. Okay. Why is it relevant in relationship to this case, as well as why this could be as deep as it is. Okay. Now, I don't know what's happening here in terms of YouTube, but I think people are hitting me like they tried to a long time ago. So if you guys can hit that thumbs up button and send it the other way, that would be really amazing, because this is what they tried the last time. And I don't know, if it's happening again, but the fact that I'm having all these network issues and I'm actually on 4 bars of 5G and I see everything kind of bouncing. So I don't know what's going on, but that aside, okay. Tonight I'm going to play a phone call, but I'm only going to play a snippet of it. Okay? Because I want you to, as we go into a slide presentation, and then we're going to go back to the phone call. Okay. I really want you to see, okay, that behavior of the power-reassurance predator. Okay. So I'm going to hit the call real fast. I'll play it multiple times. We'll slow it down. I'll have it also transcribed. Okay. But I think this is an important piece of this puzzle. And this goes back to August of 2021. And at that time, Mr. D.W. was making all kinds of, remarks on the internet. And he was also trying to persuade family members to not go to the authorities. And so Miss Mary called me a while ago, and they had been talking to TBI. Jeannie had turned her information in, but she called me and said he keeps trying to chime me up here. I said, that's perfect. Press your record button. And so all of those, all of that was done and turned over to the authorities. And that's why I'm not going to play all of them. But this is about Summer. Okay? But in these calls, I want you to listen very carefully. And now this is based on what we've also been already privy to now, 8 months into this. But this is Don's mindset from, maybe 6 months ago, even. But more importantly, I would submit to you, this is his mindset since he was 12 and maybe younger. And I think we have SA victims who we need to be sensitive to show us and to have had the courage to come and say, this is what happened. Listen to the mindset of the perpetrator.
Yeah,
But I
so it's
can,
okay.
but I can get her to
Yeah.
tell me. Just, I just gotta talk to her for a while.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah,
I'm just not gonna worry about it no more. I'm tired of running from her,
right.
you know, and her bullshit.
Mhm.
I've been paying for this shit my whole life.
Right.
She's done this shit to me my whole life, and I'm done with
Right.
If you notice now, take
it.
out subscriptions to their channel.
Worried about it
Because
anyway.
there's
No, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
They can't prove nothing. What I done with Jeannie, I admitted to, and I apologize to her for that. But other than that, I'm not worrying about it.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but what we just heard there and what the authorities heard was a full confession. Now, the details of that confession will be worked out by DW and the authorities. But what was really important here is the fact, the last couple of words. I'm going to play it again.
Yeah, so it's okay.
But I can get her to tell me. Just, I just gotta talk to her for a while.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna worry about it no more. I'm tired of running from her,
Right.
you know, and her bullshit. I've been paying for this shit my whole life. She's done this shit to me my whole life, and I'm done with it.
Right.
If you notice now, take out subscriptions to their channel.
Worried about it
Because
anyway.
there's
No, I'm not gonna worry about it. They can't prove nothing. What I done with Jeannie, I admitted to, and I apologize to her for that. But other than that, I'm not worrying about it.
So we hear him talk about events that lasted over 7 years, from the age of the victim being 5 to 12. He nonchalantly says, well, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I admit it. I told everybody what I did there, i.e., because he said it on my phone call. But I'm not worried about it. And so this is where I think it's important for us to understand why these guys do what they do. And so I've got a little couple of slides here, and we can talk about it. And then I'm going to go back to the call again after we look at some of the principles. Now, one of the things I want to let everybody know as well, okay, that Don falls into the category, since he's been doing this since he was a child, admittedly, i.e., 12 to 19. Okay. Jeannie was 5 to 12. And Mary, of course, is in there. And in that call, you can hear in the background, they're at he's at his house when he had called her, Mary. And you can hear everybody talking in the background. And there was even, I think, one part in there, but everybody's going to have to listen on your own and pull the data out that you feel is relevant for you. Okay. I can assure you, everybody, tonight that there is an investigation active, ongoing. I will not discuss the progress of it, but I can assure you they have this. They have my other phone call. And I got a sense, and this is just my sense, that there's a larger picture going here. Okay, there is no statute of limitations in Utah where this occurred. Thank goodness. There are approximately 7 women, but this is where you start to see his MO. That's modus operandi. And Mary is his stepsister, Joyce. So this is how he functions. Don functions all about power. All about power. This is why he won't call me. This is why when he did call me, he transferred the conversation into an excuse as to why he would not call me or talk to me. In fact, when I was waiting around, okay, for him after interviewing with Candace, the first question I wanted to ask him, and which I'll ask him here, is tell me about your impressions of the waterhole. Because I'm curious. And then, I wanted to talk to him pretty deeply about, some of his behavior in the past. Now, one of the things to always understand with that horrific violent crime of SA is that these guys are registered for a reason. The challenge here for him is he's just never been caught for that, because he's been able to intimidate all of his victims. And so what happens is they lock into this MO of how to manipulate their victims and the people around them. So I want you to see, from a professional behavior analysis presentation, i.e., all of these principles here come from law enforcement and specifically the BAU at the FBI Academy. So now I've taken a lot of other information out because it's not necessary for this sweet little child here. But I want you to look at some of the bullet points here. The purpose of the power reassurance predator, and I've changed it from another R word, but it's the same. But for this presentation, we're going to call it predator, is to reassure himself. Now, that's a very interesting principle. What do they reassure themselves of, though? Their own masculinity. And so they reassure themselves that they're masculine by exercising power and control over children. Okay? And so this creates a chasm of victims who are scared from the day it occurs. It's sad. I've seen them. I've talked to them. I've walked through them and helped them. And if they only understood, which they don't, how these guys operated, then they would be able to start healing. And this is why this is such a big deal for these women to have come forward now on behalf of Summer. And this is where this conversation is about Summer. Okay? About Summer. And what happened was when she went missing, Jeannie reflected back and said, "That's me." And immediately called TBI. It was 30 years later. But she got the courage, okay? It got the courage to face her demons because she was scared. They lack the confidence to develop and maintain a social and relationship. So he resorts to SA and this fantasy to prove himself to himself. Now this button here, or the third one, it says he typically has no desire to harm his victims. What that means is he doesn't want to physically beat them up like the next guy. There are 4 levels of these guys. Okay? Those that prey on children typically have no desire to physically hurt them. They have all the desire to SA them and S them in terms of hurting them and emotionally destroying them. Okay? So that's why I want to define that line right there. Okay, that line. Okay. So when we teach this, what we're talking about is, physical abuse to children in terms of the SA aspect of it. There is definitely the emotional, the physical, all of those abuses are definitely in play here. So that line is not mitigating that fact. Okay, I just so for clarity, so everybody understands, right? That's what I'm saying here. Okay. They try to reconnect with their victims to relive the fantasy. And they also typically return to apologize. Now, let's listen to this call again.
It's okay.
But I can get her to tell me just, I just gotta talk to her for a while.
No, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna worry about it no more. I'm tired of running from her.
Right.
And her bullshit. I've been paying for this shit my whole life.
Right.
She's done this shit to me my whole life, and I'm done with it.
Right.
If you notice now, take out subscriptions to their channel.
No, I'm not gonna worry about it. They can't prove nothing. What I done with Jeannie, I admitted to, and I apologize to her for that. But other than that, I'm not worrying about it.
He is classic. No empathy. He's beyond feeling. He does not care about wrecking. This is only one life. Okay? Only one. There are a lot more. I think we can all agree to that. We know since Jeannie came forward, there were 6 more or 5 more, and counting Mary. And so that's just the tip of the iceberg. Remember what I was saying earlier. These guys are registered for a reason. Okay, a reason. And that reason is you cannot, change the behavior. They can learn how to manage the behavior through heavy duty counseling. In prison, they have mandatory counseling sessions where they make them act like they're the victim and trying to create an empathetic position to the victim, and then they play the game. I mean, I'm going to play part 3 of Wesley Allen Dodds coming up pretty soon. I want to give it a little more time because he's a heavy subject. And if you haven't seen him and you're new to my channel, take a look at parts 1 and 2. I've been heavily redacting part 3 because he gets into some pretty crazy stuff. But that the word, of I'm sorry to him, that's where he feels, well, yeah, I said I'm sorry. Okay. Yet here she is, a grown woman, and he's still trying to manipulate her. Now that's That's why I've held this for as long as I have, because now everybody has had an opportunity to see how he operates. Just used the 911 call recently. Well, she apologized to me. The first news clip, it was a misunderstanding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this is how he's been. Has been his not only control mechanism, but his safety mechanism. And tonight, Jeannie and Mary took it away from him again. And they are in the driver's seat. So, how does this now? We go back to the next piece here at the last bullet. He may contact his victims to relive the fantasy. See, he's getting two events out of this. Every time he returns back to his victimology and his victims, he's reliving it. And now, in context, the statement of "I can get that anytime" to Mary's brother, or the statement of, she liked to sleep with me every single night, only me, etc. The reason I couldn't probably look into the bedroom, because they would not. And Tracy, it was. So thank you for asking that question. You missed my presentation earlier. All of this stuff here, the cops have it. Okay? But thank you for asking. So the next piece here is return to apologize, which you just heard he said he could have done, and return to a victim with whom he was successful after another unsuccessful event, meaning he's going to keep doing what he needs to do until it's believed. Anybody seeing that happening? And that's why when we look at MO here, and we look at a narrative in relationship to that MO, what he's doing is he's moving the goalpost, and he's been successfully getting people convinced that Jeannie, as an example, was not a victim of his SA activities. And Vet Girl, you're right. That's what it is. It's a PR campaign. But social media now, the power of it has given it to him. It's empowering the power-reassurance predator. Let's take it back. Let's take it back. As we all continue, which we have, and continue to do so, we stand with SA victims. We support them. Okay? Because look at his character traits, or their character traits. Low self-esteem, which permeates their life. They're described by others who know him as being gentle, quiet, and even passive. That's pretty interesting how he has this public persona of all of those traits. All of them. Remember, we live how many lives, right? TIR members, you know these inside and out by now. We live 3: public, private, and secret. All criminal activity, all sin is in the secret life. And that's what we've been dealing with here, trying to find keys or clues into Summer. Where is she? Now, they're underachievers. But they have the capacity to do much better. However, they don't try. They don't try. I've seen that in the last 7 months. I can't tell you how many times personally. They're not athletic. Solitary pastimes. They read, watch a lot of television, extensive internet. Now, for him, I would say the internet, TV, we know what his pastimes are, and we know they're compartmentalized, i.e., in solitary confinement, for lack of a better term. Why is that applicable? Why is that important? Because he spent time in the system. Everything is somebody else's fault but his. And he even started out with the behavior panel on Dr. Phil. Go back and watch it again. You know, I was raised in the system, i.e., jails and the prisons. And he's telling the truth there, because he's right. He's been in 3 prisons, and he's been in countless jails. And next piece of that is you have drugs and alcohol. Well, probably 90% of all the problems that he's had, he's empowered himself to do it, okay, to do it all. Okay? And so it's consistent. He's consistent with the power, with the pattern. He's very consistent. He doesn't even fall out one bit of what I've been trained to see, and thousands of others in law enforcement and in the counseling business, doctors, lawyers, and others. We've seen this pattern. And so now, for me, the question is, I'm going to play it one more time.
Yeah, so it's okay.
But I can get her to tell me, just, I just gotta talk to her for a while.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna worry about it no more. I'm tired of running from her.
Right.
And her bullshit. I've been paying for this shit my whole life.
Right.
She's done this shit to me my whole life, and I'm done with it.
Right.
If you notice now, take out subscriptions to their channel.
No, I'm not gonna worry about it. They can't prove nothing. What I done with Jeannie, I admitted to, and I apologize to her for that. But other than that, I'm not worrying about it.
Now, what's really striking there, outside of the fact that he feels he's 100% confident that he's moving in the right direction, the fact that he says they can't prove nothing. Really? Well, we just proved something. We proved, not me, but the authorities, that you're a power-reassurance predator. And now we have to say, okay, so how does that apply to a 5-year-old missing? Well, if we think about it, the fact that there was an action by Jeannie to come forward when she heard the age of Summer, what she did there was she transferred herself into Summer's circumstance. So now, does that "they can't prove anything" statement apply to not only her, i.e. Jeannie, but is it possible it applies to Summer? Is it possible that if this was an accident, there is a deeper reason why that child should not be in front of medical authorities? I don't know. I don't know that answer. I would submit that for me, it would not surprise me. And if it was, going down the path of, accident at the swim hole, hypothermia, drowning, etc., right? And, of course, the drive back and, is that child, there's Candace tells us she jumped up, do we really know that? Do we really know that? And if Don's in, is he home? Is he at work? Are the boys locked into the house? Are the boys locked out of the house? And we just talked about that on the last video. I don't know. What right now we're hearing is the last time she was seen going into the basement. Okay? But this is why there's so much confusion in this case. There is so much confusion in this case because they haven't been straightforward. The parents. And how do we know that? Because the story has so many variables and moving parts with all the players. Since we were kids, every human being, the truth is a constant. The truth is a constant. And that's how we used to get caught by our parents. By our parents and our friends, right? Even our friends in high school and junior high school would call us out if we, went, well, you said this the last time, now you're saying this time, okay? But what's fascinating about Don is he is consistent with saying a narrative, okay, until he gets caught. And here, again, remember, Jeannie didn't exist for years, nor did the fact that he had SA'd her for years until he says it.
It's okay.
But I can get her to tell me just, I just gotta talk to her for a while.
No, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna worry about it no more. I'm tired of running from her.
Right.
And her bullshit. I've been paying for this shit my whole life. She's done this shit to me my whole life, and I'm done with it.
Right.
If you notice now, take out subscriptions to their channel.
No, I'm not gonna worry about it. They can't prove nothing. What I done with Jeannie, I admitted to, and I apologize to her for that. But other than that, I'm not worrying about it.
Now think about that. That's powerful, Don. I hope you come forward and lay it on the table, my friend. And what I mean by that is I'm respectful, but it's time. Summer's birthday's coming. I'll remind you, it's February 4th. It's February 4th. Please, for you, for the world, give Summer back. And the only way we can do that, unfortunately, is through the truth. Whatever that may be, whatever that is, I know you know. Something, some circumstances. Candace knows. Candace knows. Please. I know, if it's an accident, it's an accident. Okay, great. If it's not, if somebody came up, okay, great. But how did you know that? When, folks have looked into it and said, well, that's not what's happening. Okay? So, I'm sure there's more to it. I don't know exactly what that is, but I have a lot more. And in time, when the timing is right, we'll put it out there. But we don't want to just you know have problems. We don't want that, and I'm not like that. And so that's it. So let me go through here for a second. Um, so this whole statement is extremely important because of his entire mindset. And that mindset, I would submit to you guys, and that it was uh, cemented early uh, after his first victim. He learned how to utilize the power of control, power of violence, threats of violence, and we hear it when he talks to women. We experience it together. I watch it on YouTube. And then he again goes into public persona of, reading the Bible, and everybody needs to read the Bible. Well, that's a great suggestion. She needs to read, everybody should read the Bible or whatever religious book you feel you should read. Absolutely. I agree with that principle, but then you should follow the principles in the Bible, whatever those principles may be that touch your heart. You know, all religion's good, but you should follow that. Okay. Um, so let me get to some of these things that I've starred here, and I want to thank everybody. Hang on. Okay. Thank you, Joan. Welcome. Chris, I kept leaving messages everywhere. Mr. McDonough, could you please enable the closed caption? Absolutely. Just hit the letter C on your keyboard and you're up. That's a YouTube thing, but I appreciate it. Arkansas, welcome. Seen you all over the place. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Amanda. Hawaii Prom. Aloha. Welcome. Not today. Thank you. Love that one. Mo, thank you so much for becoming a member. Let's see here. Jack and Angie Meeker. Wait, he said the same thing about Summer in an interview. That there was no evidence, so he wasn't worried about it. Connection, just thoughts. Great. No, that's good catch. Good catch. See here, Nick. Thank you, sir. Happy caffeinated couple. Love that. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you, Jen, for your hard work. Someone will get justice for her. We're all doing it, right? We're all here tonight on, a blessed Sabbath day with this 5-year-old in our hearts, in our minds. The lab, if you guys haven't gone over to the lab 2.0, get over there, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be over there this week. Josh had put a piece together about Letitia, and we're going to talk probably about other things too. So we'll see you over there at some point next week. Kathy, thank you. Best wishes. Appreciate you. And then Maria. Okay, so those are the ones that I've starred. So I'm going to get back over to the chat side. Forgive me if I've missed you tonight. I will. I'm trying to do my best here on that stuff. Just learning how things work, right? Sometimes. Okay, so let me grab a couple of questions here, mods. How are we doing with folks as usual? I see Merritt. Thank you so much. Okay. get up here. Vet Girl, thank you. So how do the predators usually get caught? Great question. Great question. So it's usually stuff like this. And or unless you have, just a cold, streak of luck that they, reoffend. But for the most part, they almost turn themselves in, for lack of a better term. They don't, but they can't control the urge to victimize. So they jump continually into the next victim, and that's how you usually catch them. One of those victims stands up and says enough. So Cheryl B, and I'm trying to figure out how to put it in the front here, but it's at the top. Sherry B says, since C and D are so impaired every night, are we surprised they haven't just blurted out what happened to her while their defenses are down? They've been lying their whole life. So no, I'm not surprised. AZ Native, thank you. Arizona Native, thank you. Always very enlightening. Thank you so much for your kindness in saying that. Let's see. Gone Girl, thanks for all you do. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, so let me get down here. And while I'm looking, I'm going to play this again.
Yeah,
But I
so it's
can,
okay.
but I can get her to
No.
tell me. Just I just gotta talk to her for a while.
No, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna worry about it no more. I'm tired of running from her.
Right.
And her bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I've been paying for this shit my whole life.
Right.
She's done this shit to me my whole life, and I'm done with it.
Right.
If you notice now, take out subscriptions to their channel.
No, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
They can't prove nothing. What I done with Jeannie, I admitted to, and I apologize to her for that. But other than that, I'm not worrying about it.
Isn't that crazy? He admits it, what he did to Jeannie, and hey, here's an apology of 35 years of abuse, mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm sorry. Doesn't cut it. Thank you for this insightful analysis, which can not only help Summer, but also help families recognize what to watch for and understand. Absolutely. And if you guys want me at some point to go over the principles, there are 4 types of these guys. They're pretty heavy, but and I want to be sensitive to that, so I knock them down a little bit in terms of presenting it. I don't give all the real heavy duty stuff. Thank you, Gone Girl. I know I'm finding these now. So thank you. I'm just going through the chat here, just catching up. One day we'll do that. And if you haven't had a chance, also, I'm the director of law enforcement relationships for the Cold Case Foundation. You guys should get over there and look at Cold Case Live with James and the crew over there. There's a lot of great things. It's $2. It supports the foundation, and there's a lot of great things, a lot of great information coming in. So if you get a chance, get over there. Thank you, Merritt. Appreciate you. Let's see. Okay. So a victim decides to become a survivor. Thank you, Heidi. God bless you for saying that. And, this is what I absolutely love about our chats here. I hope that this information is, really important for you guys, that, we're not screaming at each other. We're not, this is about Summer. It's about Summer. And there are other children out there, and there are other people out there that we need, to pay attention to, right? So hopefully authorities will get to a place where they're able to make some moves and put that, in the hopper and move. And now we go to the next one. then we can go and help another family. Okay. Let's see here. This is a great question. Can't imagine Summer still on property since dogs didn't hit. Any diagnosis on vehicles, like with Barry Morphew? Yeah. So that by the way, that DNA hit on the glove box. I asked you know Francine Barlow about that. Remember that could just be partials of thousands of people, and maybe there are a couple of 290s in there, i.e. RSOs, that had nothing to do with any of that. But it's it's a curveball. It's a red herring. Uh, Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Yeah, here you go. This is a great comment. Thank you, Diane. Tell a lie enough, it becomes personal truth. Yeah, isn't that the truth, right, guys? Isn't that the truth? Yeah, Teresa, thank you so much for saying that. They have an app too. And there's a lot of cool things coming with those guys. I mean, we were Coop and I were just we were in a meeting on Tuesday of this week, or excuse me, Monday, and we've got a lot of cool things. We're helping a lot of families up there, and it's my responsibility to kiss babies and shake hands, and then I sit in the analysis part of when a case is presented at the foundation. Love and light. Yeah, I want to thank you for all you give for summer. Justice will prevail. May sweet summer find peace, and may a new law be started in her name. You know what? That is a really cool statement. Thank you for saying that. Wouldn't that be neat? If anybody knows some legislators out there, kind of like Megan's law back in the day, there's a lot of cool things happening. Yeah, partial DNA, third cousins, anywhere. Nothing burger. Thank you, Sarah. That was funny. Good one. For the call, the interim vehicle diagnostics like GPS. Yeah, it could. The diagnostics, and we just saw this in May's case, right? And by the way, I'm going to have Mary, Chris, and Richard up pretty quick because soon, when they're ready. But so I hooked them up, or we got them connected with a really cool drone technology. It has infrared, everything, and they've been out there, working with this guy and their company, who does a lot of work for law enforcement. So it's pretty cool. Let's see here. How much longer till justice served in this case? Estimate, Merritt. I don't know. I wish I did, but what I do know is we may see more progress on Rose Bly a little quicker than we are seeing here on Summer. I can assure you this, though, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. These guys and gals who are working this case, I would submit to you, are coming at at this with every fiber of their body. Even that community. I mean, Kingsport, Tennessee, just beautiful people out there. They really, really love this little girl, and it doesn't always mean you have to see action. But I guarantee you, if you walked into any grocery store or any gas station and you said Summer, Summer Wells, I promise you, every one of those community members would respond in the positive and saying, how can we help? How can we get this little girl? So, I just think, everybody behind the scenes, is doing everything that they can, over there. I know it's frustrating. It is for everybody, because it takes a little bit longer, because what we want, if there are, people involved that we've been, if they think people are involved, you want to make sure that when you put the bottle cap on, that you hit it hard, so you have to break the bottle to get it off. Okay? And you want them doing the right things. I do see an arrest coming at some point when I have no idea. None. I even just what we just heard, okay, yeah, that's pretty tough to get around. You know what I mean? That's pretty tough to get around. Okay. Let's see. I'm reading your comments, guys, and thank you so much, all of you, for being here again tonight. I had a really good week. It was a lot of stuff. Talk about it later at some point. I can't talk about it now, but I was in another state recently on a homicide case. Let's see here. You guys are just so amazing. But my Karen, I got home yesterday and she goes, you already have a show? And I said, yes, absolutely. You know me. And she goes, okay. So, yeah, exactly, Mystery Maven. Thank you. And you would know, Miss Attorney, Counselor. I'm going to start calling you Counselor. You need to change your name. Let's see here. So I'm just going to go through and start putting some of your comments up here. Or one of the things here. Sociopaths believe their own lies. Yeah, that would be how they both pass the polys. Yeah, well, the first one I know that Candace didn't pass because she told me she didn't pass it because she was under the influence. Okay? She was under the influence. I mean, it's cut and dry. And I had asked somebody, if they were under the influence, and they confirmed it. Yeah, she was. That's why they waited, right? You can't put somebody through a poly or a CVSA unless they're cognitive of what's going on, because they have to help you form what they call the control questions. So, see, a polygraph and a CVSA work the same way. So, the first question is going to be a truthful question. Is your name, Chris McDonough? Yes. Then the second one's going to be, are you involved in Summer Wells on YouTube? Well, yeah, I'm not conducting the investigation. I'm just, a guy on YouTube with her. And I just happen to have a certain skill set from the cold case and my career. So that would be, they'd look for that response. And then the third question would be a truthful one again, or, a real, is your date of birth, blah, blah, blah. Yes. So that's how it works. Well, you can't do that unless you're sober. Why weren't the sheets? Great question. I don't know. I don't know if they weren't taken. I'd be surprised. But I don't know. Are you talking about the mattress outside the house, I assume? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I wouldn't lay too hard on that, because those could be dirtier sheets put back on. Aubrey, because I know they were up there, and the card team was there, and they're going to look at that house, they're going to look at that room, and hopefully they took more stuff that we just don't see. Yeah, there you go, classy lass. I think Ellie has it covered. Patience, thank you. Justice for Summer, Justice Jean, love you. Always see you around. You're a great person. Do you believe this is much bigger case than just Summer? I don't have that answer. So it could be, but I know that the grandest grandma over in Wisconsin and Rose, I think at some point that's going to be an interesting development. I'm Team Summer. Where's Grandis? Great question. Don't know. Thank you, McFluff. Yeah, I love that. For your help and all these, that's not many retirees in law enforcement that would donate their time. You're right. But it's the right thing to do, right? It's the right thing to do. I'm coming in late. What's the latest you've heard? You're going to have a whole bunch. All our friends are here. So, all right, what do we got? Justice for Summer. Okay, so let's, I want to keep this to about an hour, 15, 20 minutes for everybody. Want you to know how much we love and really appreciate you. Don't know you, but we know you through spirit. We know you through, your presence here. And when you come, Karen and I just think it's delightful that you're always such a classy group, and that, we're developing a little family here in relationship to, just kindness together. And has her phone been checked? You know what? I would suspect that it has through through a search warrant on the other side. Even if she didn't turn it in, they can still get the data. They just can't get the downloaded data from a product called Celebrite. It's called a UFED, and what happens is, actually, you can see them at every AT&T, Verizon store. It's that device in the very back when you want to change all your numbers and all your contact information over. Well, they plug it into 2 UFEDs and it feeds over. Well, when you're a bad guy, they have a more sophisticated version of that will drop all kinds of stuff that I'm not going to talk about. They found a new guy on the mountain. Well, I don't know if they found him. I think they knew about him, okay, and visiting grandma and all that other stuff. So I think we're good to go. Why is Grannis not talking? That is an absolute wonderful question, Dolly. I cannot answer that question. Channel hopper. Leslie, thank you. Thank you again. And thank you, Teresa Huckabee. Okay, so I'm going to keep it short so everybody can have a better night than maybe they started out with, and you can rewatch this. But more importantly, also go back, look at part 1 and part 2 of the waterhole again. Okay. I'm really curious what you guys think. I've been watching that again, and the moment she said, I mean, just go even to that part, right, within a minute or two, okay, where she said everything slowed down. Okay. I'm really trying to take a harder look at that and see if there's any other, clues given out, even for me, right, where I'm thinking, man, why is she, why is she so compartmentalized this emotionally? And, I really believe that she was experiencing a traumatic, something's coming back to her. Something was coming back to her. So let's take a look at that a little bit deeper. There's a lot smarter people out there in the world. And a lot of you are out here on YouTube. And so, let's kind of connect those dots together, because that's how crimes get solved. That's how information is presented. But let's keep it viable. Let's keep it truthful. Let's keep it realistic, so that if it ever had to go to a court, okay, then if you discovered it, you could put your hand up and say yes, okay, and that it's just not, wackadoodle, okay. So with that said, aloha, everybody. Continue to be good to each other. Hopefully you don't have COVID, and if you do, I'm praying for you. Karen, Dillan, I'll even get Buddy involved, because, man, that stuff is just hurting a lot of people. And in fact, we as a family, have been impacted by that, as you know. But I know there's a lot of you out there that may be experiencing. God bless you, everybody. And what do you think about jumping over into Hawaii? Shall we? Here we go.
Hard working every day, I'm stressed out 24/7, babe. No timeouts, wish we could fly away. You and I go to our favorite place. Oh yeah, make special memories together. I'll be your company now and forever. I say we fly away, you and me, go to our favorite place. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. I need a summer breeze, some fresh air to put my mind at ease. No cares. You wanna come with Yeah, we're taking away, we'll never calm down. We're